Let's celebrate. Hit me. Yeah, it's the Capital City Podcast. I'm your host, Capital J, alongside my main man,
DL Glass.
We're celebrating tonight, man.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers and beers to 35 years. 35 years of what? Well, 35 years ago, right about now, I got paid for the very first time to DJ.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you. 35 years as a professional DJ. Longer than I've been a husband or a father.
Or an adult.
I've only been a brother and a son for longer.
Adult.
Yeah, longer than I've been an adult. I was not an official adult at the time.
Right.
So, since that's what we're talking about, I'm going to give y'all a rundown real quick. How to rock a party. From era to era. I'm a DJ. We talking DJ stuff. All right, let's go back. It's 1989. I got one crate of records at best, and I'm splitting that between me and another guy.
How many records is a crate?
Maybe 60.
60?
Yeah, 60, 70 records.
Wait a minute.
Hey,
wait a minute.
I'm young, dumb, and broke.
Now, when we talked about it outside, when you said the crate, it didn't register. That you talking about 60 fucking records.
Right.
You acted like you had
maybe
10,
between the two
12.
of us, it was like 1.5 crates. But we make it through the party. First time we go DJ, we don't have lights. We don't have serious sound equipment. Mm-hmm. We drag house speakers from out of the house, might have borrowed some from somebody else's house just so we have more than two. Mm-hmm. It wasn't uncommon in 1989 to get to a party. And before, there was some cats that had the professional sound systems, but back then it was not uncommon to get to the party and there'll be stacks of house speakers against the wall.
Right.
2 might not cut it, but 6 to 8, that'll handle your party. Mm-hmm. The way they built speakers back then were a little different. Some speakers actually had full range, gigantic 12-inch woofers, but they didn't just kick bass. Like now, everything's separate. But you could actually find speakers back then where everything was coming out of the one speaker.
Right.
And they threw sound a little bit different. Mm-hmm. Back then, we played a whole lot more of the intro of the song. So it was very important for you to be able to cut and scratch to extend the beginning of the song, because that was usually the most popular part. Was like that. Even before the dude started rapping, it was that part of the song. People wanted that extended. They danced to that part because that was the beat, the drums. A lot of times the music didn't drop, the rap didn't start. But let's take Eric B. and Rakim, I Ain't No Joke, for example. Boom, ka, boom, ba, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom. I Ain't No Joke. Well, you got that. If you got 2 copies of that record, you bringing that back. And we rocking to that beat for about 1.5 minutes. Boom, ka, boom, ba, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, boom, ka, boom, ba, boom, ka. And I'm talking about the crowd is lit off this drum beat. Mm-hmm. And just every time you go, boo, everybody's all over again. Yeah, this is the dope part. And then he comes, I Ain't No Joke. And it goes to another level.
Right.
And you rock that song, today, if you're partying, you probably don't know the third verses of most songs. How many times are you going to be at a club or party today and hear more than the first verse once the party really gets going? DJ's working, you might get the first verse, maybe second verse if the song's really hot, but third verse, never.
Well, most of these tracks don't even have a third verse.
Right. But
I get what you're saying.
Right. But back in the day, so we were able to get by on one crate of records because we could take one song, if it's hot, stretch it out 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Mm-hmm. Take something like EPMD, What You Saying. Well, that song is so dope. Like now, somebody might be mad if you play a whole song. Back then, they might be mad if you cut it off.
Yes.
What you got in the crate better than this? I mean, if the song's really hot, because we didn't have the same amount of options. You take what's available.
Right.
And what's available is limited because it has to be pressed on wax. It has to be distributed from wherever you made it to me. So, you got more of the song, played a little bit more of the intro. You cut and scratch that up a little bit. So, moving on from Tarboro, come to Greensboro, College Town. In Tarboro, the party was all about hip-hop when we were young. R&B was kind of for the older people. So we didn't do a whole lot of R&B. Like soul to soul, yes. Whitney Houston, no.
Right.
House music, a little bit. Go-go, yes.
Right.
Reggae, yes.
Yeah.
When I got to college and you started getting the influx of different people from all over, the sets of these songs that I played got longer. So, Tarboro, small town, mostly hip-hop, a little bit of reggae, a little bit of go-go, a little bit of house. Once I got to college, you have all these different people, the sets became equal. You get about the same amount of go-go as you got reggae, as you got house, including disco was a throwback back then. Because if you think it's 1989, you go back 10 years, they were playing disco. So if I'm throwing back 10 years ago, not really throwing back to a rap song unless it's Curtis Blow, Grandmaster Flash, Sugar Hill Gang, I'm throwing back to Rick James, Kool and the Gang, McFadden and Whitehead, Ain't No Stopping Us Now, stuff like that. Those are the throwback records. Patrice Rushen, Cheryl Lynn.
Right.
So your throwback was almost always R&B because there weren't enough old school hip hop songs to create a full hip hop throwback set.
Right.
In 1989.
Absolutely.
I could go back to some Fat Boys, but how far am I really going back? 4 or 5 years.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
It speaks to the longevity of the average career.
Right. Right.
That moment and like being in the moment. Of the DJing. I always wondered this. Like, how do you know? Like, how do you know? You said how to rock a party.
How to rock a party.
How do you know?
How do you know what to play, when, are you saying? Or how do you know?
I'm asking you, how do you know?
When the party's rocking or how to get the party rocking?
Answer both of them since you
asked. All right. So, as time is moving on, the first thing you have to do is you need to go to some other parties. If I don't party, then I can't be a good DJ. You got some DJs that just stay in their own little bubble, and they may sit in their room and they cut and scratch. But you gotta get out there and experience parties, other DJs. Not like you stealing the way they play it. But you got to see what works and see the reactions. So you go out there and you watch. You watch the people. And I know when I got to Greensboro, I watched DJs play a lot of records that I didn't have and I didn't know about.
Of course.
Then I have to figure out what that song is. There's no Shazam. 80% of the time I walk right up to the booth.
Had to ask.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember when I first got to Greensboro, T-Love played the remix of Bonita Applebum. It was a long remix, too. It was probably 7 minutes long back then. It's a long remix. And I was like, what in the world is going on? This song just won't stop, But the song was hot. You could drop the remix and play it for a long time because people would let you do that back then. No idea where to get that record. Later on, I ended up with it. But you had to go ask, and you got to pay attention. The only way you know if the record works, people say you can test out records, but I wouldn't recommend anybody test out a record after 11:30.
Alcohol.
No, if you test it out after 11:30 and it doesn't work, it's too much of an uphill battle to rebuild the crowd and get them back to where you had them. So I'm not testing a record I never played before unless Now, here's where you could get away with stuff back in the day. Since drums are so important, if it had a popular drum loop, like James Brown, Funky Drummer, I could rock that if it had that beat. Because that beat would be so familiar that I can get by with that song, but I may not play it after 11:30. Mm-hmm. So it got to be something familiar. So first thing you learn is that if it's a song that nobody's heard before, it's got to have a familiar element, maybe a popular sample, like Father and C drop, If You Do For Me. If You Do For Me. It's sampled. Cheryl Lynn, Got to Be Real. I knew immediately I could just play this record because Got to Be Real was such a hot throwback that if a rap song comes out and it got to Be Real beat, I could play it. K Solo, Your Mom's in My Business. Before I Let Go. Well, you know how hot Before I Let Go is still to this day. So you can imagine how easy it is to play Your Mom's in My Business by K Solo.
Right.
It's a no-brainer. Of course I could play that.
Right.
So, we're moving forward a little bit, and I see the South coming into this thing. Mm-hmm. The influence of Southern music starts to change things. The way people started slamming records, I say, during that time period too. Slamming, I refer to slamming records as everything. Like some people, you still have DJs that blend their records, one at a time. But I started noticing more DJs will come through, and they'll have their records set up so they can drop them one behind the other, and it may not be a blend from one record to the next, but as soon as they find a good point to stop one record and move right into the next record. And it won't be a blend, but just a straight
chop.
Yep. Yeah. One record in, next record start, and everything keeps going. Like, I've never been a slam record DJ, but I seen some guys who are really good at it, and they keep the party rocking like that. So I fought being a slam, I fought against becoming that kind of DJ. But as I was fighting against it, I didn't look down on it. It just wasn't my style.
Okay. So
as I was fighting against it, I had to figure out a way to slam the records in my way while blending. So, but I figured I'll tell you the compromise later. But, I started noticing that these dudes coming in here and they playing twice as many records in one night is what I'm used to. Okay. So let's say if you're playing songs and you're getting 2.5, 3 minutes out of a song, well, in 60 minutes, that's 20 songs.
Right.
And if you're doing that all night, you might go through a whole night, a 4-hour party, play less than 100 records. DJs probably play easily in excess of 200 records a night now.
Okay.
200 songs.
Okay.
You're not going to get much more than a minute and a half. Mm-hmm. And it's time to move on.
Oh, you better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And since I just not a dude who picks the spot to slam and start the next record, I like for the records to connect with each other as one is going off. Mm-hmm. So I developed a count. Well, I didn't develop a count. It's always been around in music. I'm a band guy. I come from 1, 2, 3, 4, boom. Or 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, boom. So in my mind, music is math. Some songs have 4-bar hooks. A bar is 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 bar. Mm-hmm. How many of those go on from the time this dude finished rapping till he's gonna rap again? If it's 4 bars, that's 4 bars I got for the hook.
Okay.
Learn your records. As a DJ, you need to know this.
Right.
Because the next record you play might have a 4-bar intro. Or it could have an 8-bar intro.
Okay.
If it has an 8-bar intro, you got a 4-bar hook, you need to go halfway through the intro, bring it in when the hook starts, and when the hook ends, the next record, the guy will start rapping. And since we didn't have mixers with echo on them and everything, nowadays when one song's going off, you hear it, red rum. Oh, we wanted red rum, and then the next record coming in. Mm-hmm. We didn't have that.
Right.
So you had to think of other ways to get that record out of there.
Transition.
Right. So even when the blend is finishing, back in the day, instead of using the echo on the mixer, DJs had other options. One was the break. You touch the stop button on the turntable, and the record will go, girl. You heard that a million times back in the 90s, right?
Yes.
Right. You actually have to set the turntable up to make it go, girl. And you have to adjust the breaking speed of the turntable.
Oh, damn.
So when you buy the turntable, you might hit it and it'll stop like, bah! It might stop immediately. Or you might hit it and it might
right.
You don't have time for all that. You got to get it so that when you hit it on a snare drum, you want it to go, and that takes a fine tuning. Mm-hmm. So next step is for my transitions to be crisp, I need to adjust my breaking on my turntable so I can get the perfect when I hit it. So that needed to be adjusted. If you don't use you had available. That's where you spin the record backwards. Bring the crossfader down. It makes the sound.
Okay.
Another way to get out of one record into the next. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. There's another one. As one record's going off, you grab the last part and you and then you fade down while you're doing it. So you might Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to upward. But I'm making the echo with my hand. You see what I'm saying? Right. Nothing to up. Just bring it out like that. But we didn't have software that could make this happen for you. Mm-hmm. So had to learn how to do that so that I could get, allow me to navigate through these songs, especially when you're going from one tempo to the next. My Percolator record was an easy spin record. So it was great because if I'm playing house music, there's not much else outside of Miami bass, and I'm going to play that tempo. Mm-hmm. So anytime I'm getting out of that type of music, I'm going to a totally different tempo. So there is no mixing 120 beats a minute with 85 beats a minute. You're not going to do it. So you need one of those other techniques, or you got to do something to make that transition.
Right.
There's no drop button that you're going to hit. Capital J is killing it. None of that. No bam, 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 bam. No air horn. You know what I'm saying? Like I was in the club where the air horn was a real live air horn attached to the ceiling. You got to hit a button. It blows air through the horn. And that's loud enough for the whole club to hear it.
Right.
Actual air horn. You see what I'm saying? So you learn little tricks along the way, but you need all of this before you even start figuring out what you're going to play.
Right.
Then the next thing you got to realize is your music is ammunition. People in the party, you are there to kill them. I got crates. Right. I got crates full of bullets.
Yep.
And I got these big guns, two big guns. They got Techniques 1200s on them. So, every time I grab a record, it's another bullet, and I'm trying to kill you with it. Mm-hmm. But I have to be careful how I use this ammo. Because in the beginning of the night, if I use my biggest bullets, which are my biggest songs, and I shoot you with them, you got too much energy, and you might make it to the end of the party. And if you still got that energy, and I didn't kill you before the party's over, at the end of the party, I still got too much left. He ain't do a good job. I gave you my big ammunition too early. Mm-hmm. DJs make that mistake because every time you play a song, you lose a little bit of its effectiveness. A song can be hot. If you can get away with playing a song twice, the first time you play it better be before 11, maybe 11:30. Because the crowd that came early might not be there when you play it again, and if they are, they're not going to care
Mm-hmm.
But if they got there after 11:30, and they hear the same song twice, you suck.
Yes.
In their mind.
Yes.
So and I'm not saying I've never done this. I've done it before. Because sometimes, in my early days, I didn't have enough sense when a girl walked in. She was cute, and she asked me to play the hottest song out as soon as she walked in the door. And she got there at 11:30. I'm like, and you go ahead and drop it, and then you get all this energy, but you're not prepared to sustain that energy yet.
Right.
Because there are so many people waiting in line outside at 11:30 that whatever's going on is not the pinnacle.
Right.
So in my mind, the formula is, let's say party starts at 10, 10 to 11:30. I'm playing music that you like, but these aren't the songs that are going to turn the party out. But it's stuff that you like.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I got to be real careful because it's real tempting when those first few people who want to start dancing, you want to go in.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You're like, oh, get to kill them. It's 10:30 and they're ready.
Right.
And you start pulling out records. Nope, don't do that. Save your big guns. Save your big bullets. You pepper them up with a shotgun. Pow, 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 pow. You hit them with the BBs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't pull out the 40 cal yet, the 50 cal. You say that stuff. But early on, as the crowd starts ramping up, you start playing stuff outside. Like the biggest hits of the day are going to be contemporary music. So that's going to be the most popular songs of the day,
right.
Hip hop, R&B, whatever's hot.
Mm-hmm.
So when you start talking, you want to pick a fringe genre that doesn't have a hot record out at the time. So if there's no house song out right now,
okay,
then maybe you rock a little bit of house to get them in the mood because you got plenty of songs to pick from, and none of those songs are going to be something that oh man, I done played that, I can't play it again. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So that's where we are today. Now in 1992, I wouldn't just pick house to start off with because house records were coming out. You had Robin S. and CeCe Peniston and all these folks, they dropping house records all the time.
Right.
So I'm not saving, that's not what I'm saving. I'm throwing the disco back because there's no new disco song out. There's plenty of new house out. There's new reggae out. There's new go-go. So I'm going to, play a little bit of this stuff.
Right.
But after 12 o'clock, everything you play needs to be fire.
Keep that energy going.
Right. And you can sustain it. You can sustain it for 2 hours because the crowd that's coming in, you can turn the dance floor over a few times.
Yeah.
But if you get started too early and you wear those people out that came to party, like everybody got 2 hours in them.
At least.
They got 2. But they start partying at 10, they are done at 12.
Yeah.
12:30, it's like, man, I can't take no more.
Right.
I don't, you could be good, but whoever is sitting at home talking about they're going to do it all night, they really saying, I got 2 good hours to give you. so you want to give them their 2 hours, give everybody their 2 hours together.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing we learn. Next thing, step your equipment game up. After a while, house speakers ain't cutting it.
Mm-hmm.
Off-brand turntables just won't do.
Right.
Shitty microphones always squealing. So eventually you're going to upgrade your stuff. And it took me a while to do that because I got to a point where I was getting good sound men. So it took me a while to get my own quality set up because I didn't need it until I got to a point where I was doing the kind of gigs where I needed to bring my own stuff. And that took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I had a little bit of stuff early on, but it wasn't what I got now.
Right.
Let me see, what other things do you need to know to rock a party? All right, back in the day, rappers used to show up.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I was talking about how you cut the beginning of the song up? Well, when you're doing that, it'd probably be three or four dudes, yo, man, let me get the mic, let me get the mic, let me get the mic. Because you sitting there, you rocking beats, and they want to spit on the beat.
Right.
And I would tell you this with absolute certainty. Maybe 2 out of 100 MCs
can actually rap.
No, can not fuck your party up. It's some great rappers out here, but it's only like 2 out of 100 that when a party's going on can get on the mic, or back in those days could get on the mic and actually their rap made the party good or better.
That's what I'm talking about.
Everybody else was a distraction.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't know when to quit. You know, it's like I said, if I'm on stage at a party, I want Dougie Fresh, not Nas. You feel me?
Right.
And all that shows up is the Nas's.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, and I need Dougie Fresh up here right now.
To rock that shit.
Right? Somebody who can look at this crowd and enhance the party. And then all that's showing up is Nas and Jay-Z. Nas and Jay-Z and Biggie. Right. They all said, no, I take that back. Biggie get that thing going. Yeah. But, you know, it's all Nas and Jay-Z. You know, everybody will be lyrical and think that you know, people want to dance to your lyrics. No, you need to enhance this beat.
Right.
You know, the guy that stepped up back in the day and said, all right, everybody, where are the pretty girls at? All the pretty girls, put your hands in the air. If you got your real hair on your head, that's the guy who wants to, you know what I'm saying? I'm a fellas. Right. I'm a fellas in the house. So yeah, let me hear you say, make money. I need some of that. When I'm on the wheels.
I get it. I get it.
I don't need no lyrical miracles right now. But listen, so of course now that MC's always been a part of hip hop from day one.
Yeah.
But for me,
entertainers.
For me down here in North Carolina, this led to a rise of real party rocking MCs. I'm telling you, I've had a chance to work with some dudes that were built for this. Yo, where are the ladies out of here? Y'all looking real fly tonight. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's your real hair on your head.
Oh my God.
If you got more than $50 in your purse right now. If you got more than $50, if you don't have AIDS, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever it is, you know.
God.
If your baby daddy paid his child support on time this month. But that's, so what happened was these dudes.
That's it, man.
Like, they always are getting it up there in New York. But we were getting by I could go back in the early 90s, I could get to a whole party and not say a word.
Right. You ain't have to.
I ain't have to. And if somebody did grab the mic, it was just extra salt. That was like, oh, I got some sauce for you. MC, take that.
Right.
But what happened is eventually the MCs started becoming like very important here. I'm not saying it wasn't already the case.
Right,
you know, we're not in New York, you know.
Yeah.
But down here, more and more, I started noticing that I'd be paired up, like certain clubs would have an MC who's just always at that club. No matter who's DJ, it'd be the same MC because he's the guy at that club.
Right.
And you know, I started seeing the value in them. Mm-hmm. And what it made me do is become more vocal on my own, so I don't need them if they're not there.
Right.
So I started taking over the duties, you know, so now instead of them, it's me.
Right.
All the fellas in the house, come on. All the fellas in the house, the fellas in the house, come on, let me hear you say, ah! Say ho. We getting all that in there, you know.
Right.
So, but I'm telling you, I've seen some good dudes on the, you know, on the
mic.
On the mic.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, shoot, Kyle Santillian was good. Fendi was dope.
Okay.
On the mic.
Yeah.
Like, at a party. Yes, make the party better.
Yeah.
You know, Tap Money made the party better.
Okay.
You know, cats. So just having these dudes around. Then there were certain clubs like, you know, when I was at Candlelights, I always rocked with Hannah's Baby Boy Stu. He was effortless with it. You know, like you would think he ain't even paying attention. Like as a DJ, you want your MC to be paying attention to what song you're playing. You want them to know the songs as well as the audience because they can enhance. Like if you're gonna, they know when a certain part comes up. After a while, they know I'm gonna cut the music and let everybody sing right here.
Right.
So instead of me having to tell everybody, all right, this that part, let me hear you ladies make some noise right here, and then sing along, and then we drop in there, everybody singing. Well, I'm thinking Stu ain't paying attention. He might be over there talking to a girl, then turn around and be like, all right, this y'all favorite part of the song, hit it one time. And then I dropped the words, and I was like, oh, he was right there with me the whole time. He looked like he ain't paying attention, but he'd be doing the job.
Doing other shit.
Yeah. So MCs became very important. It's good to have a good MC, and if you don't have one, become that. And I can tell you, it's been hundreds of times where the MC has made all the difference.
I can see that.
You know, like I'm a good DJ, but sometimes, like here it is. I may be in a club. I'm not in the club every weekend, but the MC is.
Right. And like you say, you know what's
they wait
going
for
on.
him. He tells them what to do.
Right.
So, all right. Now, there was a period of time where there were songs that always started trouble.
Right.
As a DJ, you're trying to kill them.
So play them.
So you love those songs that make everybody rowdy.
Okay.
So no more playing GA. Like this kind of energy, I didn't start to like. Let me see. I'm gonna call this extreme masculine energy.
Okay.
Like hip hop has always had a masculine energy to it, so I think it was always male oriented.
So, but before you finish that, and I hate to jump in, but it reminded me of something that I was thinking about, and like just looking at the changes in music and stuff like that. Do you think it would be a large number of DJs that would admit that change impacted somebody's life that night?
When you say impacted somebody's life and the change in music,
that like because you said like the DJ knows the music that brings aggression, brings excitement.
Absolutely. Like sometimes you like as a DJ, the reason DJs started slamming records is because they're chasing the high that you get from hearing everybody go, ah. It's a high. It's the same high that you know that Michael Jackson feels when he finishes his performance. He puts one glove in the air and everybody goes, ah.
Right.
You know, you get a dose of that every time you drop a new record, if it's a good record. And the slamming, when you're slamming records, you're just going for the, ah. That's why it became, I'm going to play just a piece of this song because 2 minutes into the record, you're not getting the ah no more. It was just when the song started. So they repeat that over and over again. Every few, now every minute and a half, ah, new song that I like, ah, new song that I like,
right,
ah, new song that I like. It's 7 p.m. Friday, ah.
Right.
You know what's going to happen when you drop that. But now you got so used to the high that you just got, you're not going to get to the second verse of that song. Soon as she get finished, now it's on to the next. Something else to make go, ah, because it's been a whole minute and I ain't heard nobody scream yet. So, it becomes addictive. And when you had that era of music that was making things difficult at the club, like I said, I call it hyper masculine music.
Mm-hmm.
And I first started to see it. It was a mixture of when Master P was in the game, but also the boot camp clique. Like it was the same energy when you play boot camp that I felt when I hit No Limit Soldiers. You know, nothing but dudes on the floor.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, but the dance floor is packed.
Packed. Uh-huh.
And it's like that music brought dudes to the dance floor, but there was nothing, like there's no place for ladies in this mix like that. It's like it's almost like a mosh pit. You know, dudes are buddy up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they rocking with their boys now. And that was the first time I started to really, you know, notice that big of an effect. Like when I dropped you dropped KRS-One, The Bridge Is Over, which when you listen to it, okay, sounds like a masculine hip hop song. But nah, the girls are all over that. But here, I'm taking you back, come follow me. Then I started noticing you got more dudes. The dance floor is turning like 80% guys. You know,
like Shook Ones.
Right, Shook Ones. Shook Ones, a lot of ladies like Shook Ones too, though.
They did,
Yeah. That's why I can't quite put Mob there because they didn't run they didn't run the ladies away.
Yeah.
The way that like a Helter Skelter did.
Yeah.
You know, Wu-Tang didn't run the ladies away.
No, they invited them.
You know, it's hard to put a finger on what's the difference between their music and somebody else's, but for some reason certain artists bring the dudes out.
Like Boot Camp Clique, the whole everything, if a chick listened to that back then, I would look at her different.
Maybe because they never made that song, that love song for the chick.
I'm just saying.
They never made one. Lost Boys,
yeah.
They did Renee.
Yeah.
Method Man did his thing with Mary J.
Mm-hmm.
Even Ice Cream. You know, Wu-Tang had joints for the ladies, but these other artists I'm talking about, they ain't make nothing for no girls.
Mm-mm.
You know, it was thug music. But during that time period, you drop this stuff because you want that energy. Because, man, shoot, I remember one night I dropped Bout It, No More Playing GA, Hey, just a bunch of them. And man, by the third song in, it was probably the most lit I ever seen anything. Mm-hmm. Like temperature went from regular to you can't breathe in here in like 3 songs.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it almost got foggy in there.
Mm-hmm.
Then a big old fight broke out. And I don't even think people were fighting because they were mad at each other. I think the music just made somebody want to hit somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, I know and who run it? Who run it?
Yeah.
These boys ain't ready. Never their mouth because the first hater step, first hater get tossed out. Man, come on, man. Tear the club up.
Nuck
If You Buck hadn't dropped yet. But when it did, it just added to it.
You might get punched in your face now with that shit.
Oh, man, but the funny thing, Nuck If You Buck is a girl song now.
I know, but still.
They just waiting for, yeah, we knocking and bucking and ready to fight. But you have to be careful how you play that music.
Yes.
And that's the next thing you learn is like, okay, I have power.
Mm-hmm.
So over 35 years, it took me 10 years in the game to realize how to wield that power effectively.
Oh, damn.
You know?
Right.
Like when you walk in, it's either you have the power or the crowd has the power.
Mm-hmm.
Early on when you first start and you walk in, the crowd has the power because you're nervous. You don't know if you're going to keep them on the floor or not. Mm-hmm. You know, they have power over you and how you feel.
Right.
You have to have power over them and how they feel. Mm. And if you walk in, they had the power over you, you're going to lose that night.
Said a mouthful.
So you know, it's a lot. It's a lot of things to learn. Right. But a trip up came when Serato happened.
Mm-hmm. Software.
it changed everything.
Right.
Because before that, you had a handful of dudes who were, to be a DJ, you had to devote everything in your life had to change because you're a DJ. What kind of car you drive? Well, there's certain cars I can't drive. So I mean a van, a truck, or SUV.
Yeah. Every DJ I ever known drove one of those three.
Right. You have to. You don't have any choice.
Right.
And that becomes, by default, your daily driver. Mm-hmm. So that's the first part of your life you're giving up. Ain't going to be no cool sports car. Even though K-Nice had the 300 when I met him. A red 300. I was like, this dude right around here DJing, but he had the whole back full of records. You know, and I don't know how he fit all this stuff in there.
Right.
But sports car is not going to be on your menu. Then you got to think about where you live. If you're a DJ, can you live in a house with 3 other people? No, eventually your stuff is going to take over everything. You know, suppose you want to have speakers. Okay, well, you think you're going to keep all this in your room?
Right.
15 crates of records, speakers, amps, turntables. Yes, it's all over the house.
Right.
So now you're going to have to find a place that can hold all your stuff. When the computer came, it eliminated all those records. And people who normally had been say, I'm not going to DJ because I don't want to drive a van. I don't have space to devote for all this stuff. Now they don't need that stuff anymore.
Right.
So it opened the door for a bunch of other people. And what happened when a bunch of people come in to work anywhere, the price for the labor goes down.
Yes.
Right on. So the game struggled because of the influx of untalented new DJs.
And it's ugly now.
Willing to do it for next to nothing.
Right.
You know, and what I'm saying is I think a lot of the guys who picked up just out of the blue because it was cheap and affordable and easy, I think they're starting to get out of the game now. You know, you don't see those guys as much anymore. Okay. And it's starting to get back to, like now when I go to a party, the dudes that DJing, 75% of the time it's a dude that probably had records. So we're getting away from those guys. But those guys ran the clubs for a little while and they drove the prices down and they lowered the expectations of the audience.
Right.
You know, what a DJ used to come in and do, you don't get that anymore. Right. But so what happened now, people are accustomed to just not dancing. Mm-hmm. Just listening to the DJ. Because they haven't been through all this stuff that I just talked about. These dudes are still on phase 1. They're just coming out of the room. So they don't know none of this stuff that take 35 years to learn.
Right. But it's not their fault.
No, it's not. I'm not pointing the finger. I'm just telling you why things are the way they are.
Right.
So you have like anybody that's been partying for the last 5 years, or let's say the last 10 years, you're not going to hear all the best DJs. You have to search them out because every place got a DJ now. Mm-hmm. And, they're not all good. Some of them are. Some of them are really good. But back in the day, bad DJs didn't work like that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, because the crowd would boo them off.
Yeah, you weren't allowed.
Yeah.
And the club wouldn't have any part of it, but you had to make people dance. And now they don't care if people dance or not because they just want to come in and buy drinks. Mm-hmm. So, over 35 years, there's been a lot of changes. But that electronic, the downloadable computer software, that was a game changer for me. And that was probably the thing that took me from being 100% full-time, all the time DJing to DJing as much as I do now.
Okay.
Because I developed my talent on the Wheels of Steel with live vinyl records. Right. And it took time for me to learn. So you have dudes now that know just as much about the ins and outs of today's equipment as I'm sitting here explaining to you how to set up the breaking on a turntable so it goes pure. Well, you have guys who are proficient in the new equipment like that, but I haven't spent that amount of time with it yet.
Right.
Because, my past 20 years been spent taking care of kids, working a job, doing all this other stuff. The first 15 years of that DJing was just wake up, roll over, cut the turntables on. Spend the whole day making mixtapes, beats, rapping, whatever, So as life changes, all this stuff happened. I'm not the same DJ on this computer stuff that I was with 2 turntables and a mixer and a real record.
Right.
So, but you got dudes that are awesome with today's stuff. So today, though, you got to know how to string those records up. You got to know your music, and you have to be able to put these songs together before people get bored with the song. So I say your biggest sin now is playing a song too long. And since
you're right.
Since there's no structure in the music, it's even more of a challenge to figure out where to stop some of these songs.
Mm-hmm.
Like take Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares. This dude rapped from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. So when you put it on, I've never cut the record off. You just gotta let it play.
Yeah.
But we're in an era where people don't want to let nothing play.
Right.
But that's one of the only songs that people will accept from beginning to end. But you got 50 more songs with no hooks.
Right.
The dude's just rapped on from the beginning of the song to the end of the song. So where do you cut it off? See, all that got to be worked out.
Right.
So today, today's music is a challenge. Dudes just like the beat drop and they just rapping. Like, oh shit, I'm gonna drop this.
How do you blend or mix an offbeat rapper to a rapper?
I don't. Like offbeat rappers that bothers me.
Hey, listen, man. So
that bothers me. I don't make
since
mixes with offbeat rappers.
Offbeat rappers. This is a public service announcement. Silk the Shocker.
He birthed a whole bunch of rappers.
You weren't a rapper back then. You're not a rapper now. Stop.
If Silk the Shocker came out, look,
I'll show it to you.
Silk the Shocker can win today.
Nah.
Hey,
he dropped. Stop.
He's still bad.
Stop, bro. Stop.
But that's the thing. There's so many Silk the Shockers now.
Stop, though. The Silk the Shocker.
Hey.
The real.
Hey, it sounded to me like he's a pioneer in this. He got a whole bunch of babies out here.
Keep that. Don't try to read. No, none of that.
Shout out to Gorilla for learning how to get on beat and killing the game right now.
Yes, sir. A, B,
you know what I'm saying?
F,
but yeah, right on. Hey, but for real though, I just came in, man. I just wanted to celebrate 35 years and talk about DJing.
Congratulations.
Like that's all. That's all tonight was about. I'm just telling you what I learned over 35 years. You know what I'm saying? The good, the bad, the ups and the downs. Yeah. Hey, and here's another thing you need to learn too. If you want to get in this life, you better learn how to turn your head and act like you don't see some stuff. This is Capital City with Capital J.
Remember that.
That's my final lesson. The final lesson is you are gonna see and run into some things that should not be overlooked. But you're gonna have to look the other way and walk away, son. This is Capital City with Capital J. And I'm gonna leave it at that. What happens in the club stays in the club.
Yeah. Shout out Puff, man.
No Diddy. Cheers and beers at 35 years. Clink it up.
Yes, sir.
There it is.
Congratulations.
Toast. This is my 35 years, y'all. Oh, I want to shout out DVS. He just had his he's been on the radio for like 30 years. He's had 30 years on a radio party.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So we all coming into 30 and 40 years now.
Right.
If you've been doing this and you're around this age.
Okay.
So some of them 50 years in the game.
That AARP card come in handy, don't it?
Hey, I'm still not old enough to be getting retirement. So, but here's to it, y'all. It's Capital City Podcast. And we got 31 more years, we have our 35th anniversary for this podcast.
Right.
So it's a Capital City podcast. We 4 years in. We got 31 more to go. I'm your host, Capital J, alongside my main man,
DL Glass.
And we out.